All right, everybody, we're back on the J Talk Today's relationship show. Mm-hmm. All right, with none other than your two favorites.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Mimi Fox and Miss Debbie.
Mimi Fox.
Hey, Miss Debbie.
Hi, Miss Mimi. How are you?
I'm good. What's good with your girlfriend? What's good?
We ready to do this topic today. This is a good one, Mimi.
All right, and we have...
Okay, let's get started.
Well, we have another guest on the show today. Sitting in with us. All right. Special guest. Special.
Yes.
Special.
Yes.
Long-awaited moment.
Mm-hmm. You've been talking about this for a while.
We've been talking about this for a while. All right. None other than the ever so great Dr. Gail Seymour.
Yes. Hi, Gail. So delighted to have you.
Hello.
It's been a long time.
Oh, well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes.
Welcome.
All right.
All right, Jack.
Ready to get it on?
Let's get it.
Let's get it on.
Yes.
Let's get it on.
Okay.
All right. I just stick to the talk show. All right.
Thank you.
All right. The topic today is is what's good for the goose as really as good for the gander is what good for the goose really as good for the gander.
Well, I'm just gonna start out by saying, Jay, you better be careful of that thing.
Better be careful.
You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful because see now, I'm gonna say that initially, for the most part, I think the consensus would be that, somebody might say, yeah, for the most part. But it depends on who you ask and where they are at that moment. And I'm going to explain that later, yeah.
You're going to explain that later?
Yes. It depends on who you ask and where they are at that moment. Okay. So I guess I can just go ahead and put that feedback out there.
Yeah, go ahead and put that out there.
Okay. So now, for me, now we talking, I'm going to speak on me personally. Some years ago, when I was a little younger, if you had asked me that question, I would have jumped up right there before you could get the question out and say, yes, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. But since I'm older now, up in age, matured a little bit more, I would say, for me personally, no. Because I believe in what you do is what you do, and there's nothing that I can do about that. But I can worry about what I do about it. So now, good example.
Okay.
If you a girlfriend and you go out and you buy that pair of shoes that I said that I wanted. Okay, I'm just using this as an example. And you go out and you buy the shoes, but you didn't like them initially. Okay, so but I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna buy the same pair of shoes and find out what day you gonna wear them, what day we gonna be out together and wear them at the same time. That's not a good thing, So, cause I'm mad because you bought the shoes before I did. Okay, so is that a good way for a person to carry themselves? No, I wouldn't say for the most part, but you'd be surprised as to a lot of people that would think what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And we're talking about relationships. So, and we know that any relationship that you have with somebody else is a relationship. But as far as men and women, your husband, your boyfriend, your man cheats on you, and so you want to get him back. So you go out and you cheat as well. But I mean, is that solving anything? Miss Mimi, is that solving anything?
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't think it would be done with the intent to solve a problem, because if we're talking male-female relationship, right, and me speaking as the female, if the male were to go out and cheat and then I go cheat, that solving anything, but that would not be the reason why I would go out and do it. Okay?
Right.
My thing is, if you gonna do it, I'm gonna do it with you. Okay? That's my thing. You know, if I can't, because I can't control your actions.
Yeah.
Okay? And sometimes, you know, you can talk to a person, keep blue in the face, and when we're talking about cheating as adults, you don't have to tell an adult that it's wrong. Everybody knows it's wrong. So I can show you better than I can tell you what the business is. You understand that?
Okay, so Mimi says.
Well, okay.
It's all good.
I'm gonna play the slow guy, the one in special ed. The one that didn't make it to the head of the class.
You finna go somewhere.
And I need somebody to tell the slow guy. What does that really mean? What's good for the goose is good for the gander?
That means if it's okay for you to do, then it's all right for me to do it.
Oh, okay. That's what that means. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. If it's okay for you, then it's okay for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's exactly what that means. Okay, because you have some people in this world that's arrogant, cocky, conceited, think they can do whatever they want, treat you any old kind of way, and ain't no consequences or repercussions that you're gonna put up with it. Well, if I got to put up with your stuff, you're gonna have to put up with mine.
Me.
Guess what? I can do the same thing as you, no matter what it is.
Today,
I'll get the attention one way or another.
Oh.
And at my age, I'm not fixing to stop people I'm blue in the face and plead with you, stop doing what you already know is negative and bad behavior. Again, I'm going to say it. I can show you, but not tell you.
Okay.
What's up, doctor? What's up? Come on.
Yes, I'm pleased.
Doctor.
Well, what I was really wanted to say is something that my mother taught me a long time ago. 2 wrongs never make a right. And if you
one wrong don't make a right either. So,
but if you have to resort to going to the fact that you play games, then is it worth it?
Right.
Is it worth when you start this competitive role? As beings, we have an innate competition. We are born where we compete. And if we start competing within relationships, then we're going to always compete. We're going to always start trying to one up. And when will we stop? When is enough enough?
Absolutely.
At what point will we stop this competition? So if you start that what's good for the goose is good for the gander, then when will the gander outdo the goose? When will the goose outdo the gander? And when will we just outdo each other?
Yes, that's good. That's good. And you know what? And Gail, I started off at the beginning of the show saying you have to be careful of that thing, because when you talk about things like that, in instance with relationships between men and women, see, a man can do it and do it and do it and do it, and he's not labeled, but a player. But a woman that does that is considered. Y'all know them words, okay? So you have to be careful of that thing. You really do, because it's like what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's like it's okay, it's acceptable. Like it's acceptable. Oh, he's just a man. Oh, that's the way they are. But for a woman, you be named every street name there is. Okay, Jeff. But so that's why I said, you have to be careful of that. And another thing, as I was studying this topic, I thought about it, and if it's not in you to do, because that could be the point too. Even though it doesn't make your mate right, no, it doesn't. But if it's not in you to do, and you go out there and do, and you don't know what you're doing, you have to be careful.
Right.
If it's not in you to do, if it's not in you to do, the best thing is to just go ahead and let them go on ahead and live their life and do what they're going to do, and you just go ahead and be who you are.
Because if the goose is making a fool out of himself, then I'd rather you just be foolish, because this gander is not going to stoop that low.
Yeah.
So, you know, is it good for the gander to stoop as low as the goose?
Well, there's all different kind of perspectives and ways we can look at this. I mean, let's take for a minute. We all seem to be focusing on the relationship on a negative side, negative connotation, that the goose is doing something negative. What if that goose is doing something positive? Say maybe starting to walk or exercise every day to get in better shape, or to go further than education or something. And the gander is looking at him and her goose and taking the lead and say, okay, well, if it's good for him, it's working out, maybe it'll be good for me too.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, it could work both ways. So it doesn't always have to be a negative thing that we're talking about.
That's true.
If the goose is doing.
That's true.
All right. Well, yeah, I agree that there are some other areas that outlooks that we can have in regards to this particular topic or this phrase, and as you were just putting that, you know, something positive. But you know, we also hear so much. Also, I guess, or women have heard it, and I'm a neutral person in this. You know, I'm already outnumbered, so I don't have no choice but to be neutral. All right. We hear this phrase, "It's a man's world, and women are not allowed." What y'all think about that?
Tell that to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
That's what I think about
that. But you know, Jay, since you mentioned that, let me just say, if you listen to the rest of that song, James goes on to say it's a man's world, but it wouldn't be anything without a woman or a girl. So, I mean, there it is right there. Yeah, okay, all right, it's a man's world, okay. But guess what? If it was just a world full of men, just think about that thing for a minute. I mean, we ain't got to go there. But just think about that for a minute. But no, I mean, and then another thing that you brought a point out to, Jay, you know, as in doing this show, this topic, you know, like, you know, you hear some women say, well, you know, I can do anything a man can do. I can do it better. You know, and I've heard that over the years. I've heard, you know, women say that. And don't get me wrong, there are some things that women can do. You know, I mean, there are women in construction, there are women truck drivers, there are women that are out in the forces that are doing jobs that initially were a man's job, was a man's job. But you got to be careful, you know, even in that.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Well, so are you saying, I'm just make sure I have the proper takeaways from those comments. Are you saying that there are some things that women can do that men can do, but not all things?
Say again, Miss Mimi.
Are you saying that there are some things that a woman can do that men do, but not all things women can do that men do?
You said some things that women can do.
Are you saying that women can't do all things that men do?
I would say. I'm going to say this, and viewers remember I'm surrounded by outnumbered. So if y'all don't hear from me the rest of the show, y'all just put y'all just go put out a search. Anyway, I'm glad I got that out.
Right.
What I'm going to say is this: is that you know, there are. I personally believe that anyone can put their mind to doing anything. I mean, you have women bodybuilders now, and some who can lift just as much weight. I've seen them. You know, in many categories, and built just like a man. But here's the thing. I mean, that could be speaking towards to something that's a positive thing, not really a negative, that the woman is establishing that she can body build and can do that if she puts her mind to it. But here's the thing, that makes the woman in appearance lose a lot of femininity of her appearance. I'm just saying her appearance. I have seen some that tone, but when we're talking about bodybuilding, like a man,
Yeah.
and weightlifting and lifting as much as a man. I'm not talking about toning. I've seen, some female bodybuilders who do more toning than actually for strength and weightlifting. And I'm just speaking on the weightlifting part. That those that do that tend to lose their feminine appearance, and so if a person was to take a glance, even if they were in a dress, you would have it's been commonly mistaken. Those particular women have been commonly mistaken that it was probably a man, and then sometimes thought, well, that's a man in a woman's dress, until they actually get a good look at him. So I'm just saying, is that really such a, some things, though you might be able to do like a man, is it really beneficial or profitable or even worth, as the doctor was saying a little earlier, is it really even worth trying to compete, go into that competition, just to prove a point?
Well, it might not be just to prove a point, It may be because their desire of theirs is to lift weights or work out or, be a champion of some sort, or to be able to whoop around. Who knows? It maybe not necessarily just be to prove a point, doing it just because I can't. We don't know what drives people to do the things they do and make the choices and decisions that they make. But, back to the original topic, if it's good for the goose, good for the gander, well, that's a matter of personal opinion, I guess, at the end of the day, for that individual.
Oh, I actually, like I said, but personally, I have no problem with it. I believe that any individual, whether you're male or female, I do know that there are some particular roles in life that are due for males specifically, and we do have people that women that tend to cross over into those particular areas, and vice versa, that are particular for due for women, and we have some males that tend to cross over into that feminine area, like I'll give for instance, as I was saying, I believe anybody can do whatever. My daughter Joy, if she's listening, can testify, and I can verify as her father. She could go out and do a tune-up, and a lot of women would say, I need a man to do this because this is not the feminine thing to do. But she can do a tune-up. She's as skinny as a stick, but she can do a tune-up. She can change her transmission or filter. She's changed valve gaskets. She's done several mechanical work on her car. Basically, the reason why she basically learned, and I taught her a lot of that. Didn't force it on her. She wanted to learn, was because one of the things she said why she wanted to learn was because she didn't want to become so dependent upon just saying in life to say that things couldn't get done unless there was a man involved to be able to do it. So there are some things that may be necessary, that may be to help you in life, rather than not be seen as competition.
Yeah. And I think another good point, for that, as far as women mechanics or women doing the work on their own car, why it's can be twofold, is because a lot of times when you go into those car places and because it's generally a man oriented job, they look at women and they know for the most part, like, I don't know, I don't know a whole lot about. I know what things are, but it's but how to work on it and how to fix it. They see us coming, and they that's like, oh, okay, now I can hit her up good, But when you know how to do that kind of stuff yourself, then you're at an advantage, So as far as that's concerned, I agree to that. If you can learn, if you have the desire to learn how to work on your own car, then by all means, yes. Yes.
All right. Okay.
So it's what's good for the goose, good for the gander. Come on, Jay.
For me, I
come on, Jay.
I tend to say, I think that personally, I say that there should be some limitations. As the topic was said, is what is what's good for the goose really as good for the gander, was actually the topic. And I really say that there should be some limitation, or there should be some, I think that's both of all of you all actually said it, there should be some consideration, some carefulness in how you go into that or address that, because I think if you just go with it just full force, I think it may just be that a person wants the approval for it. And I know there's women's liberation, which has come a long way. Women have been liberated quite strongly to enter into, quote, the man's world, what was actually in the past to be known as, well, the woman's place is in doing these certain jobs, being a homemaker and this, but women have become liberated and established in many other areas. Now we're facing the area where the possibility that the first female president is in a position for possibly being, in that position where men rule. And we hear many people say that Hillary, that's the one, saying that she's a woman, she's not supposed to be in that position. So what y'all think about that, the possibility of a female president being able to handle the White House?
I say go Hillary. Go Hillary.
Y'all liberating Hillary.
Look, it's about time. We are at a precedence, right now where there's a great possibility of it. So it's time out for all of that, the stuff that we used to say, but ain't no woman got business being president. We are right here at it, and there is a good chance that she could be. So when you talk about, because if you look at the president, years and years and years, the presidency was held by a man. And I'm not saying, I'm saying if there's an opportunity that Hillary can get a chance to go in there and do the same duties as the male counterparts, then why not? Why shouldn't she be? If she's capable, and evidently she's running, and so it's a good chance that she may have an opportunity to show that.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Miss Marcy? Miss Mimi?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, Miss Mimi, what do you think about that?
I believe, like I said, But the goose is good for the gander, and she's more than capable. And
Okay.
she's about to show the world just what we're talking about.
Okay.
He can do it, I can do it, and she probably gonna do it better.
All right. Doctor, what you got to say? What do you have to say?
Well, this is certainly an example, as Miss Mimi said earlier, that certainly we've seen men do it, and this is an example where a female can definitely do it. So this is an excellent example of where the goose can do as good, if not better, definitely better than the gander who's trying to get in there now.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Jerry?
All
Well,
right.
I'd like to introduce a guest we have with us that just called in, Sasha King. Hi.
Hi, Miss
Everybody say
Sasha.
hello to Sasha King.
Hi,
Everybody
Miss Sasha
doing?
King. All right. What do you have to say about this topic?
Well, I just called in. I feel like the first two ladies feel. If she can do it, give her a chance. Why not?
All right. Okay. All right. Well, how do you see this?
I think so.
What's that?
Hello? Hello?
Did I hear Miss Mimi?
Somebody want to say something?
Oh, okay. Miss Sasha, what's your view on this topic today? What's good for the goose? Is it really as good for the gander?
I personally feel that it absolutely is. What is good for the goose has got to be good for the gander.
No
Simply
side
because we can't live one-sided. You know, you can't live one-sided. Relationship-wise, it can't happen. We're going to live alike.
Okay. So
We're going to live alike? We're going to live alike. What works for you is going to work for me. What you make me do, we going to do.
Okay.
That's the kind of situation that we're in.
So do any of you all ladies?
Okay, so can you give an example of that? Okay, we are speaking about relationships, right?
Oh yes, everything is a relationship in
Whatever kind
life.
of relationship you want to talk about? Yeah, so my thought, relationship-wise, is this. I'm going to live like you. If we're in a relationship, however you say it's going to go, it's how it's going to go. If you're with me only, I'm with you only. But if you're cheating, we cheating. If you dating, we dating. It got to go both ways. It has to go both ways. I feel you, but do you feel that with that, thought process that other mate, the other person you're in a relationship with may steer you down a bad path? Well, this is the thing. If you're with somebody, depending on if you're younger and you have time to, redo life and start over, that's one thing. But once you get 40 plus, you got to realize you got to go through some crap with everybody. So you can stay with the person that you're with and go through some comfortable crap, or you can try to go find somebody out and you don't have any idea what they're going to put you through. So my thing is, I'll let you know up front that this is what it is. So as long as you know, whatever you do, we're doing, it kind of, works itself out. Okay. It works itself out. Believe it or not, it works itself out. It might sound strange, but put it into action, and it really works. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Do you have any comments on that?
All right. So it's about being comfortable. Is it about being comfortable?
Is it about being comfortable?
Yes.
Was that the question? I'm sorry.
That was the question.
Yes.
All right.
Well, yeah, the thing about it is, as far as comfort goes, you have to be comfortable in your relationship, or you have to leave it. That's it. So what you have to do is what works for you now. It might not work for everybody, because somebody might be on different levels. You can have one person who is 90% in a relationship and somebody who's 30% in a relationship. It's not going to work with them, because the person who's 30% is not going to put up with anything because they don't care. But if you have two people that are on the same level as far as the commitment to the relationship, it'll be comfortable. Because look at it like this. If your mate were to tell you the same thing I said, whatever you do, I'm going to do. If you decided that you wanted to date other people, but you didn't want them to date other people, you'd have to make a choice. If you were committed to the relationship, you'd make the right choice. If you decided to make the wrong choice, just know that they're going to do the same thing. So usually, it doesn't happen. Let me just ask, this question, because you can have, like the female in the relationship, she may be one of those that, don't want to step out, period. And will it work if she just gives the illusion that she knows he's in, that she actually has to go forward? No, she doesn't have to go forward because, it's dangerous out there. So you don't have to go forward. But you do have to do enough to make them think that you are actually stepping out. And you can't back down off of it. You can never give up. Well, I really didn't do it. You can't do that. You have to be 100% committed to the game in order for it to work for you.
Oh, is that like a scare tactic?
Say it again.
Is that like a scare tactic?
Well, that's what it is. Because, like I said, it's dangerous out there. So people with good sense don't want to just be out there sneaking around, messing around, because you never know what you're going to come home with. So that's not really safe. But you have to do something to let the other person know that you're serious. Otherwise, you're just going to get what you get. Nobody deserves that. But it just seems to me, now this is only my experience, it seems to me, with my then boyfriend, now husband, when I put it to him like that, we worked out fine. We've been married 5 years now, and, you have to set certain things, One thing that I say, and I tell people they think I'm crazy, I say, if my husband is not home by 12 o'clock, you don't live here anymore. But that's the truth. If tomorrow catch you on the other side of the door, that's where you live at. On the other side of the door. But I do the same thing. So I don't try to, put things out there that are just for him. We gonna live the same. So what you doing outside after midnight? And I'm not with you. Nothing. Nothing. So, people think I'm crazy when I tell them that, but it works for me. I said, it doesn't work for you. You don't have to do that. But it does work for me. We 5 years this month. So, and that's married. We're together for off and on for 12.
Okay.
That's what's up, bro.
All right. Well, I'm glad that's working. All right.
That's the kind of person I am. I like to be straight up. I like to be honest. And also, if you feel like you want to see other people, as long as you tell me first so we can see other people, I don't even mind that. So it's kind of open.
So that sounds like an open relationship.
Well, I don't want to have an open relationship, but if that's what you make us do, then I'm going to have to do it.
Oh, that sounds like open relationship is a consideration on the table then. That's what sounds.
It sounds like it, but neither one of us want that. Neither one of us want that. So I never expect for him to tell me that he wants to see somebody else. And I would never say that because I don't. But he has to know that if that does come up on his side, it's on our side. I'll tell you. That's the consequence and repercussion, right?
Okay.
Absolutely. And that's what I want. But that might be what it comes down to. You never know.
All right. Now I want to go somewhere else with this. Okay. This is on open table. All right. Now we've talked about a little bit about negative stuff. Mm-hmm. Some idealistic ways. All right. Now, what about this idea? I done reached way down in the corner of a bag. All right. I done picked up the crumbs that's down in there too. All right. What if this application of the topic was good for the goose? Is it good for the gander? In other words, whatever you do,
I can do better.
Right. I can either do is just as good or better. What if the guy, because it's really based on what's good enough for the man, is good enough for the woman. Okay. So what if the man was just this extremely outrageous, great kind of guy who is, I mean, he's like almost near being the perfect kind of guy. Nobody's perfect, but almost near being this perfect kind of guy.
Okay.
And the woman, and if the woman was to try to apply this, would she be in a position to say what's good for the goose to do is good enough for her to do? So in other words, her match what he puts out as being such a great guy.
Nothing's changed. It's the same all the way around. Are you saying? Well, let me make sure that I understand what you're saying. Are you saying that if he's the perfect guy, doing everything right, taking care of the house and paying bills and that kind of thing, is she supposed to do the same thing?
Well,
I
will. I just want to know. Ain't nobody perfect, but I will say that I mean, that's on the table. Is if everything else is such the conquest, not challenge, but the conquest of saying that okay, whatever he does, whether it's bad or whatever, it's just as good enough for me to be able to do. So if that's the area of thought, then why couldn't the woman be just as much in action to the man?
I think that applies perfect. That applies perfectly. In a case like that, I'm gonna outdo you. I ain't gonna let you outdo me. In that case, because see, we both win. We both win in that benefit.
Man, and he's doing everything.
Yes.
Like you said, nobody's perfect.
Right.
But if he's doing his part above and beyond, then she should not just be a person who's just
bring the challenge
and not put anything out as well. I don't think so. I feel like she should contribute just as much as him.
Oh, so the Gander is now saying, "Bring it on, Goose."
Bring it on, Goose.
y'all gonna start a new phrase. Y'all gonna say the new phrase. I'm gonna see that all on Facebook starting tomorrow. The Gander saying, "Bring it on, Goose."
Bring it on, Goose. Yes, absolutely. I agree. I'm for it. I'm for it. In that instance, yes, I'm for it.
All right. Okay. All right. So, so I guess it's pretty much sounding like women's liberation is pretty well established in 2016.
Oh well, we well into that. I mean, you might as well just get ready to say it's a woman's world now. I mean, why not? Why not? It's a woman's world.
What do you have to say about that, doctor? You ain't touching that one.
I mean, well, I'm making funny. I'm making a joke, of it. But we know, who is. But I mean, but in all, it's because women are so empowered in the, in these days, in this time. Women are out there. They're in the forces. They're in the trenches. They're doing it. You got women serving in the armed forces. You got women that are doing it, on a grand scale like that. So I mean, but still in all, it's some things that that are men do that I mean I don't want to have to do. I'm just gonna say that they can have that. It's some things that men do they can go ahead and have. I don't but like we were talking about earlier about certain different things, like something that's going to benefit me, like you were talking about, Jay, earlier about your daughter knowing how to work on her car, and that's going to benefit me. I definitely by all means want to look into that because it's gonna benefit me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, you ladies, and I'm still alive, y'all. But you ladies,
here. Yeah.
So if Miss Hillary Clinton gets the presidency, do you all view a higher empowerment of women?
Oh yeah. I can imagine. You know,
And
this is gonna be the theme song. I'm every woman. It's all in me. That's gonna be the theme song. Come on. Oh yeah.
That's gonna be.
That's gonna be the theme song. Yeah.
He really doesn't understand what she's asking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Yeah. So yeah. That's quite interesting. I'm every woman's.
Yeah.
Are they playing that now?
No.
They waiting for the.
I think they will be.
They waiting for her to be pronounced as president,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's gonna come out.
It's gonna start playing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna come out.
And Shaka gonna redo it. Yes.
President ain't gonna redo it.
No, Shaka. She gonna have to come on. Shaka gonna have to be at the inauguration.
She gonna have to be there.
Singing, yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. It's kind of like when Obama won, huh?
Yes. Yeah, like that.
Okay.
He had his own thing.
So it was a little bit more empowerment of black Negro.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess that may work. Okay. All right. We just have a few more days before we find out. Okay. All right. Now, I do have a hypothetical. What y'all gonna do if Trump win?
Oh Lord, help us.
Hey, I tell you what.
That's all.
Right now, I'm living a dream. But if he wins, I'll be surviving the night.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I tell you what somebody told me. She said if Trump wins, she's gonna make sure she reads the fine print on everything she signed, so she don't mess around and sign herself up for slavery.
Right.
Really?
Yes.
I thought that was hilarious. It is. Somebody told me yes.
Well, it does seem like there's a possible gender war going on in the presidential because
I wholeheartedly believe, without a doubt, that Hillary Clinton is going to be our next president. And with all the things that Donald Trump has came out and said against women, that he's done to women, he's going to be beat by a girl. He's going to be beat by a girl. And I think that's just so sweet justice. It just really is.
All right. So, all right. Well, we gonna find out in a few days if it's a man's world or a woman's world. Okay. Or if it's I'm every woman. And if it winds up being Trump, I think what y'all gonna hear is gonna be you gonna hear you ain't man enough. I think that's what y'all gonna hear come out.
Boy, I'm telling you, boy, I'm just
All right.
Go on and say it, Jay. Tell me
What's
go
that?
vote.
Yeah,
Please go vote.
You know, we're gonna put this out.
Yes, please.
This is a free announcement.
Right.
Go and vote.
Yes.
Go and vote. You know, I want to take this. This is a little bit. This is not exactly on the topic, but sort of smallly related. And I just want to take this advantage because we only have a few days. You know, I hear people that complain about the election. They complain. There's some people who are complaining about Hillary Clinton and complaining about Donald Trump. I will say that nobody's perfect, okay? And everybody has some faults of some kind. However, here's the thing to consider. It doesn't value anything to complain about the two candidates, no matter what you see. It's more valuable to take note than to complain, because you hear so many complaints. People are almost fighting with complaints, almost getting into fights because of complaints. It's more profitable to be concerned or value what the inadequacies of the two, because here's the fact: there are only two people in the running. And like it or not, whether you dislike both of them or have a liking for one over the other, the fact is there are only two candidates, two people to choose from. So I'm just wondering if the nation can stop complaining long enough to just go ahead and come to their senses. Like there's another option of somebody to be put in the candidate in the race. Talking about so much what they don't like. Okay, you've already noted what you don't like. Now let's focus on the vote, because it's going to only be one that's going to sit in that seat. And now we should just talk about what's going to benefit more so based upon the inadequacies. Would you rather have the lesser of inadequacies, or as what you see or view, then that may be more inadequate, okay, or more quit. So we just need to really America just step back and reevaluate how we're looking at this thing, because we're so full of complaints. Just yes, we everything we pretty much really already know is enough to know about both candidates. It doesn't really matter about anything new at this point. We just need to make a decision and go do it.
Yeah. Because for the most part, I think people have already decided who they're going to vote for anyway. So I mean, and I think it's great, because I lived in Michigan, in Detroit, for a long time, and I don't remember it being early voting, but now you have an opportunity where you can early vote. I think that's a great thing, so nobody really has an excuse not to get out and go and vote and make a difference. I was talking to my neighbor a few days ago, one day last week, and she just basically, said, I don't like either one of them, so I'm not going to vote. And I'm like, do you know how important, an election is, especially of this caliber? You should maybe reconsider that. So she's like, no, Debbie, I'm just not going to do it. I was like, wow. But, she was just one person, but how many people actually feel that way?
Right. Which is exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. We have people that are saying that they dislike both of them. However, one of them is going to sit in that position. And the question that should be posed as a ponder of thought is, even though you don't like both of them, you're going to have one, so you may as well vote for the one that you at least don't like, don't like the most. Okay. All right. Just don't vote for the one you don't don't vote for the one that disgusts you the most. Vote for the one that less disgusts you. Okay?
Yes.
And that's a different way of looking at it. That way you still casting a vote, because somebody's going to sit there. So you're going to be disgusted anyway, so put the one that you're disgusted with the less. Okay? Does that make a little sense?
It does.
All right, just a little, I think. I think. Okay. All right, because not to vote at all.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Why is the vote? Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Because it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's no matter what you got to say. and could stop talking about, well, I wish the one for being vice president would be it, because that's not the way it is. All right, you look at the thing for real. So getting back to the topic, okay. You know, I just wanted to put that little, you know, that little say in. So as we're, I guess, coming to a close on this thing.
Yeah.
I guess it's y'all trying to make it a woman's world, ain't you?
You nervous, Jay? Are you nervous?
Nah, I'm still in the man's world.
Okay. I want you to get nervous now.
I'm still in the man's world, even though I do have quite a moderation for and admiration for women establishing themselves,
yes,
and you know, because I solemnly believe that anyone can do anything that they put their mind to. You know, and you know, if you ever tell yourself that you can't, most likely you won't. And that's right. And it has nothing to do with gender. It has all the more to do with self-establishment. And until we can do that, then you know, all these phrases, what's good for you is good for me, it won't matter. It won't matter. And then, you know, because when we get into that, we could possibly sometimes find ourselves playing games, not only with the other person, but with ourselves. Because when we get into game playing, we think that we beating them, but sometimes we're cheating ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you know, of many things. So, you know, I just say that I think we should be really careful about that.
Absolutely.
You know, what's good enough for you is good enough for me. I just don't think it should be that kind of focus at all. It should be whatever I'm just advising. It should be whatever I see that's out there that can be done. I can choose to do that if I want to, not because I'm a female, not because you know, men are generally doing it, but because that's what I choose to do. And if I choose to do it, then let me put myself in it to prove not to anybody else but myself, because the only person who could really pat you on the back is yourself. I'm not saying that's in a prideful way, but just knowing that you can achieve, and you can look back and say, you know, I did it, of course, with God's help, but I did this, you know, because
That's bullshit.
all right. So so as it goes, we thank everybody that was been on the show.
Yes.
The callers and Miss Mimi and Miss Debbie and the doctor.
Miss Gail.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So, any last word, Miss Gail?
She can't talk right now. She's a little choked up.
Yeah, she's a little choked up.
So I'm just go in Miss Gail's stead right now.
She's a little choked up.
Let me. I'm just gonna say, as I started out at the beginning of the show, Jay. You know, and I said, you know, you have to be careful of that thing. And see, for me personally, I don't have that kind of time or effort. If that's where you want to be, you know, out there, then by all means, go on, you know, but don't waste my time and think you're going to be around me and do that, because I don't have it, I don't do it, and so I don't accept it. So therefore, I'm not going to be involved with anybody that thinks that it's okay for them to do me that way. Okay? That's my last comment. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you like it that way, if that's the way you like it, I don't know, but it ain't for me.
All right, Miss Debbie. All right. Well, I'll tell you one thing that's good for the goose is good for the gander. All right. We're going to all do this thing the same way. We're going to fix to check out.
Yes.
All right. That's right. What's good enough for Jay is good enough for the rest of this panel today.
That's right.
We out.